And we are live.
Look, a little surprise evening
Huh?
pop-up live.
Just dropping it on you guys like
Look at that.
Hope everybody has had a fantastic weekend here in Montreal. It was
Summer.
basically summer. It was great. We had a nice afternoon. Finally tried to chill a bit more this weekend. So we were like, you know what? We didn't drop a video this week. We haven't done a live since I did the solo one. I want to say it was July. So it's probably 2 months.
Was that long ago? Wow. Yeah, we're supposed to technically
Do one a month.
Well, we kind of thought about doing it, once a month because that feels like when the updates come in.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess there hadn't been like a ton of things that had changed in the last little bit, but right as of now, there's a bunch of super key things. So we thought, you know what? Let's come say hi to you guys, see if anyone's online. We thought about promoting it, but it was kind of more like, it's kind of fun to just drop in and see what's going on and see if anyone's around.
It was more just to film the video anyways, but it's like if people show up, then you get to ask us questions and talk to us. But it's like a static piece of content there that's going to be
still valuable
exactly.
for everybody. So being that it's like, 8:45.
Hello, Esteban.
Yes, Esteban from Colombia. What up? What up? Thank you for coming through. Yeah, we figured let's go through things. We're not going to take up too much of your time this evening. We got a handful of items we want to cover and just new updates that you might have seen in the title, and I put it in the description as well.
I noticed the title cut off September for some reason.
Oh, because this program doesn't tell you how many characters you've got. It lets you type it in, so we could just make it set to 2020. I'll fix it after, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Got most of it in. All right, so let me go to the old screen share view.
I feel like you have a nice summer glow from the sun.
Me?
Yeah.
You think so?
Maybe. I feel like you got something.
That's nice of you to say.
I feel like you got something.
I got like a fresh cut finally, guys. I got the fade up. I don't know if you noticed, since February my hair's been a mess. I've been wearing a hat.
Your hair wasn't a mess. You had a nice...
No, I did get a cut, but I wasn't like feeling that. I felt like still messy because even though it was longer on the sides, it just reminded me too much of being...
Like the quarantine
like quarantine hair. So I got them fresh up a few days ago, and I feel like a new man. It's amazing. I have to move this up. Here we go. Music only saying, what do you think about theme pages getting paid through IGTV monetization? What do you?
I think everybody should have an opportunity to get paid through IGTV monetization.
Yeah. What does that mean? Theme pages, like
theme pages are like the people who have a page dedicated to one thing, like motivation, maybe,
or
like fitness or something like that. Like if you're creating the content, it's probably would be trickier if it becomes like just repurposed content. But if you're creating the content,
I get the question now.
Like
okay, theme page, yeah, with Jack getting paid. I feel like, that's kind of shady. That's
like
a really good question.
If you're repurposing it, then that's probably, I guess, in the end, the theme pages
because they're taking.
Repurposed.
I don't think they should be able to. I feel like if you're, it's going to take a lot of work for Instagram to be able to monitor that. Jesus Christ, it's late.
It's actually interesting though that you asked that question because it actually comes up in this next first point today.
Okay, amazing.
Like in terms of the theme pages or one of these posts, so you can see the title is "Post Effort You Reach on Instagram."
Yep.
Theme pages might be taking a hit soon, if not from what I've seen already. So
okay,
yeah.
Real quick, Deadson says hello. What up? What up? Thank you for coming through, Esteban. I'd love you to check my page. If you're looking for a review, we don't do that for free. We can't do it for free because we do have paying clients, and that would not be fair.
It's not technically fair, but you can holler at us and email us if you want to do like a little consult, or just like if you have questions, just ask us. We can point you in the right direction.
Yeah, exactly. All the information's in the description as far as if you want to reach out for a consult.
Yeah.
So, get to the first one. You want to lead this one?
Okay, so this one, the reason I wanted to make sure to include this because it was a post that did really well in terms of like a lot of people asking us about it. So we wanted to kind of touch on it on YouTube to make sure our YouTube family also can get the same content that our Instagram family does, especially if they respond very well.
Yeah.
Repurposing content, guys, as we always talk about. So we want to include this in this video. So recently, I think it's about a little over a week ago.
If you haven't followed us on Instagram, definitely go do so at High Season Co. We have a lot of crossover traffic, obviously, because most of our posts are about Instagram because that's what you guys want to hear about. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of crossover, and what we're trying to do. We have now Dan, our employee, who you would have met if you watched the videos. He's been working on running the High Season stuff. So he's been preparing posts like this. Like we have some fun carousels and just informational posts that kind of support what we're talking about on YouTube in another way. And it might present the information in a way that might help make more sense if you see both. So I didn't want to cut you off there.
Oh, no worries.
Just want to
let the man know. So yes, definitely follow us on Instagram. So this big one, and this is why the theme thing also, just a good time that you're saying that music only. But Instagram recently came out and gave us a bunch of updates on really just shedding light on how content is recommended. So when you think about when we're talking about reach here, Instagram is helping us with that reach, right? If you post certain types of content, they perform better. And now they've really given more insight into content that you could be posting that's going to hurt you. So some content is obvious, like that we know, and then some is not so obvious. Okay. So let's go through some of the content pieces so you can see. Can you click through here? Or do you need to click in the...
Oh, my
God. I was like, don't you need to click through the screen?
I don't know why I'm like...
so I'll just click through. We had a lot of sun today, guys. So Facebook avoids making recommendations on certain type of content that is deemed like low quality. Some things are obvious, right? So any content that impedes the safety of the community. So if you're talking about things that are like, obviously there's some words that I feel like YouTube will penalize us for. So you see them here, but harmful content that we're not surprised about that shouldn't do well, right? Then there's sensitive or low quality content about health or finance. This I thought was very interesting. Like, for example, right? This is any content or recommendations around like health claims. So anybody who's, tummy tea, that flat tummy tea, for example, this would fall under that category, right? So making claims that you can't technically back up that it works. So this is very interesting when it comes to like any organic reach from people who are selling content of this nature or selling products of this nature. But it's also something to think about if you're just selling certain teas or anything in the health or finance. So if you're saying like, I can make you money with XYZ and you really can't, these are certain things you're going to have to be careful of. So you might see a decrease. But it also hurts. So, for example, one of our clients are in the cosmetics industry. So this was something big for us because cosmetic procedures is something they're showing as their aesthetic medicine. So Botox and things like that. So that was something for us to reframe how we share content because now we're going to have to be thinking more intentionally about it. So knowing this is very, very important. And then like deceptive business models, like technically, what's that, multi-level marketing? Would be a problem, would fall under here. And anything that says risk-free. See, like, okay, so, we have a few people commenting here.
I'll jump into a couple. This one said, Esteban is saying, is there any kind of advice to grow an entertainment page? I think it's different from a business page.
Find your niche. Go in on the niche hashtags. It's not really different. I'd say growing every page is almost the same, right? It's like putting forth the best practices, which is having amazing content, building connections, and making sure you're actually speaking to people, checking your analytics to make sure you know what's working, and then doubling down on whatever works really well. But I wouldn't say an entertainment page, even if you're a musician or anything like that, is that different. It's really going to be like being proactive in your engagement and being proactive in posting high quality content. Yeah,
changing your content. That's the main thing. I think that people always like, but I'm doing the hashtags, I'm doing the engagement.
The content is so important.
Yeah, I feel like that's the number one thing and that people seem really sensitive about. And I understand because it's your creation and stuff, but if people don't like it, they don't like it. This is what it is. And it applies to everybody. So we all are constantly at the mercy of what people like. Yeah. I make music, I think it's good, but maybe not everybody does. Like, we make beer content as well. Maybe that's subjective because it's entertainment. High season, this stuff is education. This is like facts. I mean, ever-changing facts because of the way that the social platforms change all the time, but it's a little different here. We have to keep trying different. Do people like carousels more than they like photos of us? Or do they like whatever? You know what I'm saying? We found that most people only care about Instagram videos. If we do videos about Instagram, we hardly get any views. It's actually hilarious to us how consistent that is. So that's what we're saying. Just don't be precious about your content and switch it up. See if people enjoy it.
Check your analytics. They're your best friend for sure, Esteban.
Yes, Rumpers is saying, hey guys, it's very late in my country. Will it be possible to see this video later? Yes, it will. It will be saved to our page. Do we have a playlist of lives? I guess we do, don't we?
I do. Yeah, we do.
We'll have a live playlist. It'll be right there. No problem at all. You'll be able to see it later. Yeah. Absolutely. And Bassam, what up, Bassam?
Hey, Bassam.
Finance, he is interested. Yes, Bassam. If you guys haven't followed Bassam, if you're interested, particularly in Canada, the real estate market, and any finance and stock investing and stuff, please check out his channel. It's phenomenal. He has some great information.
It's changing our life.
Yes, it is.
And really, finance. So that's something to pay attention to, Bassam, when you're thinking about that. Like, and again, they're saying deceptive business models, but it's interesting because what could that mean, right? Yeah. So I just think in the end, it's just like making sure that you have high quality content. And I think the way that audiences engage with that content is going to inform Instagram on what's technically good and what's not. So be very, very careful about the content that you share. Content that users generally dislike. So we were talking about this as well, right? So that's posts that include low quality or deceptive landing pages or domains. So like anything that's driving people to a page that is a garbage page, like not a good page. Clickbait. So, Clickbait has always been the thing, right? Like you see that a lot on YouTube here. Instagram is not having it. So if you're posting about something that in the end doesn't lead or fulfill to the promise, you're going to get demoted in the algorithm for that. Engagement bait. So
explain what that is.
So engagement baiting is interesting. There are two forms of engagement baiting, right? Like we talk about engagement prompts. So these are things that we use that prompt people to interact, but they have to be meaningful interactions, right? So when you're posting something that's, say, like a quote, and you ask somebody to tell you about a time that they felt X, Y, Z, that's an engagement prompt. That's normal, right? That's trying to bring a community into a conversation. But engagement baiting would just be like,
no, there's like tag a friend who needs to drink water.
Yeah, it's like nothing. It does nothing. Yeah, it does. It's
the
just
theme
like,
pages.
Yeah, the theme pages are very much. Instagram is looking like here. Not a fan of the theme pages. And I think Adam Masori even said that, who is one of the executives, or he's the leader of Instagram.
Yeah, I don't know if it's CEO necessarily, but something like that.
So he's the head of Instagram is his role. So he's basically said that as well. They're not a big fan of that. So everyone in the theme pages, you just have to be a bit careful of how you're moving. Giveaways or contests was a big surprise for a lot of people, and I think that's interesting. And fine, if they don't like it, it makes sense because there could be a lot of shifty things. And technically, giveaways and contests, there are rules and regulations that you're supposed to be following that a lot of people don't. And you can see that actually on the Facebook and Instagram help desk, like help center that they have, to really make sure you're following the rules. But in the end, because it is really engagement baiting in a lot of the way. Yeah. However, in the end, because you're already getting the engagement, because you should be if you're running a giveaway well, we have a video on how to run a perfect Instagram giveaway that we'll include in the link below. But when you're thinking about that, you have to, it doesn't really matter if the reach is suppressed in there organically because you're forcing engagement in the end, right? Like that's like a key post where in the end you're saying tag a friend, do all these things, and that's going to bring people over. So it's not the same as a regular post you would be out there that could potentially get demoted. Yeah, you're going to get that reach because if you run the giveaway right, people are going to interact with it anyways.
It's one of the most shared posts. Whenever we do them on any for clients or our own stuff, they always kill it. Yeah. But if it's good, if it's something like for BOS, we always did like event tickets who were hyper local. Yeah. They never did well, but this jewelry, I actually got this from a Pretty Penny Jewelry, shouts to Hillary, and we did a giveaway for that. It was insane because it's a $150 chain that people wanted. Yeah. So it really depends on what the price is. Yeah, some people give away things that are not like that great in the end either, right? But I think I could see why they wouldn't want to have a platform where you become like, it's all about protecting the platform, right? And the platform experience. And if everybody was all just doing giveaways all the time and all they cared about was getting numbers and growth, like there would not be meaningful content on the platform. So I'm not surprised that it's not something that they want to recommend. But again, I don't want that to deter anybody from doing it because when you run the giveaway correctly, you're going to get that reach anyways. Yeah. Equivalent to like if you put an ad on something, there's just certain things that are going to get you that reach. Yeah, absolutely.
Next thing that they said, let's see, hold on.
Questions real quick? We're saying here, Liz is saying, learn the kind of tactics to increase IG organically. Thank you. You're welcome.
You're very welcome.
Is it wise to pay to promote posts just for likes and followers?
I wouldn't say that something is wrong with that, Liz. So, in the end, like it is a pay-to-pay platform in a bit of a sense, right? Like organic reach just continues to decrease. So, as long as you're not buying followers and buying likes in terms of actually making this translation with fake, but if you're promoting posts, then I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
That's no.
I love doing like campaigns and I love doing engagement-based campaigns. You know, in the end, you're just, if you have the budget in order to increase your reach, that's what you're doing with it, right? You're just getting your posts in front of more people. Yeah. That's like one of the best ways to break the algorithm. I don't think it's shady at all, and it's like, if you can swing it, then do it. It's just a lot of people don't have the budget or the or the acumen, the know-how
it's not easy.
In order to do it. It does take some time, but if you can, you're giving yourself a one-up on competitors.
We have a video that Tiff did, a solo one, about how to
increase with Instagram
ads. So check for that. I guess we can't link it anyway because it's live, but
we'll put it in the description after. I should make notes on
Make a note on that, and I'll deal with this one. So knowledge on tap. Hey, what up? Giveaways and contests seem to be big on IG, especially when users hit milestones. Yes, particularly in craft beer. And I see a lot of engagement on those posts. Very surprising. I also find it surprising. I liked them at first. Now I find them annoying, but I don't really. I don't know. I get enough beer. I don't need the other beer, so I don't care. So I guess it depends on what the prize is, and usually if it's a major prize, like they have those ones where you have to follow 25 different
Those
accounts.
are so annoying.
You know, say you win a MacBook or something.
Yeah.
Like, follow this account, this, and then I've done that before,
Yeah.
and then you end up on someone's mailing list, and you get all these random things. It's a mess.
See, it becomes a poor experience,
So
which is what they're trying to protect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
And then you
definitely
just end up
so.
likely unfollowing. That's also the thing too. It has to match, right? So a lot of people, like, say for example, I love to Hillary, yeah. Cause, sorry, I saw that. Love to
Hey,
Hillary.
nice.
Hey, so you know her too, yeah.
Okay, knowledge on
I have
tap.
her
The name
here.
is familiar.
I have her here too.
You're right.
So yeah, Hillary's the best. But yeah, so for example, it makes sense for a craft beer podcast to give away craft beer jewelry.
Yes.
But there's a lot, and then in the end, you're still attracting people who are interested in the actual brand. Do you know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
you love craft beer, that's why you enter and want jewelry, and you're gonna follow, and you'll likely stay. But there's a lot of people who like give away a MacBook Pro. Everybody wants a MacBook Pro, so they're gonna follow you, but doesn't mean they're necessarily
Care about the
interested
brand.
in your content.
As soon as they
And,
don't
yeah,
get it,
they're gonna unfollow you. Yeah. So
Whereas
it's
at
just a
least the
weird
beer
experience.
one, I very much agree.
It aligns,
The
right?
beer one aligns, like and it's usually like, hey, the milestone. That's exact. I was thinking about that for giveaways. It's always 5K or my 1K
Yeah.
giveaway or whatever, and it's like 6 beers or something, and it's cool, I guess. It's a nice thing because these are people who might not get it for free, so they're like paying for these beers to give away to people
Yeah.
to get more followers, so they understand what they're doing, and it does hit because the only people who are going to want that are people who are beer drinkers who probably won't unfollow them
Yeah.
after the fact if their content's half decent. So it can work either way. You just gotta make sure your content is good and that
Yeah, your
the
giveaway
prizes
relates to your brand.
exactly,
Yeah,
to keep
yeah.
the right people.
So people stick
So low
around.
quality.
So low quality there. So that was a bit, the giveaway one I thought was interesting. And then posts containing false or misleading information. So that's actually, and you know what's interesting because you
I got
got this
one.
the other day. Yeah, which was you shared it. You did it.
On stories.
Yeah, but you
and
shared
it was
it.
one of those ones that was saying like this. It was like the social justice stuff. It was like this white woman got X amount of jail for doing something really hectic, and then this black woman got like 5 years for doing something that was really petty, and it was trying to say that was show the disparity in the justice system, which we all know is true. And then there was got this thing from Instagram from like 2 months ago. I did it in like July, and it said this has been proven to be false.
And was taken down or something.
And it took
right?
it down or
Yeah.
whatever, and then I shared it from one of those big ones, not Slacktivist or something,
Mhm.
that has
Someone
like
huge.
1 million or 500,000 followers. So I just thought it was interesting. I'd never seen
Yeah.
it before. It's funny that they bothered to do that from a stories post that lasted 24 hours, but they told me 2 months later.
I guess if you pinned it too, maybe they want to be careful in case you pin it.
No, I didn't put it.
Okay.
I still highlighted
I
it.
just mean in general, like highlight.
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I get the point of it, but it's like, yeah. And even, I don't know. Where are they getting that information from? How are they the arbiter of what's
They actually
true
are like
and stuff?
hiring fact checkers and stuff like that now.
Oh, what?
It seems like there's like a real thing. Like they're even for this, they consulted a ton of agencies to determine these types of content that they weren't going to recommend anymore.
Cool.
So it's like they're bringing enlisting people. So
I hadn't heard that.
yeah, so be careful with what you share. That's all. It's really what that's
It
saying.
didn't.
too,
I don't
right?
think it hurts the account though, because it wasn't saying that you
No,
were
it
in
just won't
trouble.
get
It just said.
distributed.
I was like, what did I share? I couldn't even think because I don't share that to my feed. I always do stories for that
Mhm.
stuff, and just that it was a story, and maybe it's letting you know. Maybe but the fact that you do, people do get called out on it, will make people think twice
Yeah,
about what they're sharing and be like, all right, let's make sure it's accurate and
yeah.
real information.
But this
So-
is a way also to make sure that misleading information just doesn't go out there. So it's good that they're reducing the reach on stuff like that.
yeah, that's true.
And stay up to date on all things social. Subscribe to High Season. I see if you're on this video, you likely already did subscribe. Or
I would imagine so because. Oh, do you want to talk about the next one? Before we
So
go
the
to-
next topic that we're going to
'cause we don't
cover
have a
too,
thing for
because we did have, so this is not an article based, it's just based on information that we're getting from people. We haven't seen this with our clients,
No.
with any of our clients, but there has been an Instagram engagement drop apparently. So
Yeah.
people are running into this thing where they're seeing half the percentage of engagement that they normally did. This I find to be very interesting, and I'm grateful that I guess that we're not seeing this with any of our clients, but we looked into it and we thought there could be a few reasons why people are seeing this that all seem to make sense.
Yeah.
You did say that Adam was on live and talked about
He
this,
did
so the
live.
head of Instagram spoke to this, but
He
it would
didn't
be
save it, though.
yeah, and it would be, he didn't save it, and it would be temporary in the end,
Yes.
right? So basically, Adam said that there was a bug that was causing posts not to show up in people's feeds, and you could really test this when it came to smaller accounts because smaller accounts only have so many people show up in a feed, right? If you're only
Yeah.
following a certain amount of people. So when they saw that happening, then they knew that was a bug. However, that's a temporary.
It was 4 hours.
Yeah, it's a temporary thing. One thing though that we were thinking about too was Reels has come into play, right?
Yes. When was that? Like 2-3 weeks ago.
I think it's like a month now. I feel like
Really?
time's going by fast or something because we released those Reels videos, which you guys can check out.
Oh yeah, we dropped so many.
We dropped like 4 of them, so I feel like
Yeah.
that was over a month ago. It's just time's flying.
Yeah.
So something to consider, right? Instagram only has so much real estate. And the algorithm has to think about how much time you're going to spend on that app and what they can show you that will keep you engaged. So if they're trying to push Reels right now, and there's only so much space that's available in the time that you're going to be there, this could cause your regular non-reel post to be deranked in comparison to somebody else's reel.
Yeah.
And if you think about that, so think about the platform. We have 5 posts I'm going to show you. I'm going to put 2 ads in there, so we've already taken, right? That's when we saw the first major decrease in engagements when ads came
It's
in.
like every 5th.
So now I have to show you the ad, and now I have to show you the reel because the reel is important. So of course, someone else's post, who's just a regular post out there, is not going to see. It's going to take the risk of getting deranked.
Yeah.
This is why we always say when something new happens on Instagram, run with it and really invest in it because they're going to push you along with it. Because now we see these people who are sharing reels getting crazy, like insane reach.
Yeah.
So obviously
Not
that
consistent,
someone has to be sacrificed in there, right? Like it's not, you're still spending 10 minutes on Instagram in a day or however long you spend. Hopefully not, well, it depends.
Yeah.
You know, judgment. So however long you spend on it, the app knows, right? So in that, it has to show you still push its objectives, which is we need to push these ads in, we need to get reels in. So in the end, if somebody just had a business post that doesn't fit into any of these categories, you're to get deranked.
That's a great. I think that really explains it. On top of that, you got the explore page being sort of
taken over by Reels. Mm-hmm.
And then only one account that we manage so far, that on my phone at least, has changed to the new layout of Instagram, where Reels is actually a tab at the bottom. I don't like this new layout at all. It's not like the notifications are like annoying to get. You got to hit twice to get the notifications for comments and stuff. So they're trying to even pull you back from engaging to keep going to Reels. I find that I don't think they're going to keep it that way.
They probably won't keep it.
Yeah. Because they got shops. I think shops should be at the top, and then the notification should be at the bottom. But
and sorry, now you mentioned shops too. Remember, that's another thing, right? So Instagram has increased its shoppability.
Yeah.
So in that, and they have Facebook Pay, which means, of course, I'm going to show you the posts that have shop and product stickers, because I'm going to want you to go make a purchase that I'm going to make money off of when you buy, right? So in the end, there are all these other things that are coming in, and if you're not really helping Instagram do the thing that it wants to do, which is make money, that's the whole point of these platforms, right?
Yeah.
To make connections, but it's business. We're all here to make money.
Yeah.
If you're not helping Instagram do that, if you're not engaging in Reels and sharing Reels in order to keep people on the platform longer, if you're not sharing shoppable posts to like get people to buy, there is a chance that you can get deranked when they're making their priority of what type of content gets seen before other types of content.
It's interesting that I think this keeps happening whenever there's a shift in the priority. When IGTV, I think there was a drop then too.
There was a drop too, yeah. And that's
So,
probably what you see. This is our theory, guys, because this makes sense in terms of there's real estate out there, but you never know, right? But you just always have to think about like what the platform's purpose is, and you have to work with the platform. So in the end, if these social media platforms want you to do X, Y, Z, if Reels is the thing that they care about, go down and invest in Reels. Like if there is a way, which we find that there is, to create content that fits in a Reels format, then run with it.
Yep, 100%. And that's what we've noticed a lot of the theme pages doing. All the
which is smart.
I'm forced to follow because my friends send me funny stuff, and I gotta follow them now. It's like annoying, but they're putting all of the videos at like 8 seconds on Reels now to maximize that. So Knowledge on Tap is saying, does this apply to IG stories too? And if you share the IG post to Facebook?
So in the end, we have not seen a decrease in anything. But I imagine with
like
IG stories,
not as good. To be honest, now I think about it, I feel like they haven't been what they used to be.
Okay.
I'm mostly for the personal accounts that I'm running.
Pretty personal. Okay.
That I've noticed, and I didn't even think about it. So, that kind of sucks.
It would be interesting though, because Reels isn't coming up in.
They're not like Reels aren't, because I've done a bunch of Reels for all the accounts that I run, and they intertwined to make a couple story, reel, story. Like it's not like it can take the reel over the rest of the story. I don't think it would change it. I don't know. Maybe just stories are down because instead of hitting at the top, they hit the reel now, and they're just doing that thing where they're like the TikTok style. They're just reel. I've been caught in that a couple of times.
Just lean. That's why you have to lean into what's working.
I've seen that happen when IG posts weren't getting posted to Facebook.
That people's engagement went down.
Yeah.
That could definitely be a cause though, because it's just like more reach that you're getting, right? When you cross promote in that way. So if you miss that and it's not happening, I could definitely see why it decrease.
Yeah. I mean, once again, it's kind of hearsay because we don't know for sure, so we're just kind of assuming. So speaking of all of this,
speaking of Reels again,
Reels has some updates.
Go ahead. I'm always talking.
No, you're I'm like the, I'm like your support.
Oh, okay, yeah, I dig that.
Well, at least I know this for a fact. We actually figured this out last night. We dropped a new video on our beer podcast, and we hadn't done it for a while because we've been so crazy. And I knew that the reels were changing to 30 seconds, but I didn't see that it had happened and kicked in immediately. So reels are now at 30 seconds, which is a great change. I imagine they're going to end up at 1 minute. I don't know why they're doing this, stepping.
Testing, probably just testing.
I mean, maybe because their servers have to change. I don't know what it is, but being that TikTok is a minute, I think.
Yeah, I believe so.
We don't know. We already tell you we don't mess with
TikTok. We told you we were on a big TikTok fan. And look, now we didn't have to.
Didn't have to. It worked out well for us. But we have to figure out how the hell to use this thing. So now reels are at 30 seconds, which is really, really good.
I think this just shows again, like there were people who are like, like Instagram Reels isn't going to take over TikTok, like big deal, whatever. And it's like, this just shows you, yes, Instagram can take over anything that they want to take over because they are largest platform ever.
Yes.
So they can do anything that they want to do, and in the end, they're gonna really put chinks in TikTok's armor. I believe they already are.
With all the crazy stuff that's happening.
With all the stuff that's already happening with them, and then just nobody wants to make things complicated. If you can just be in one app that's doing all the things that you want it to do, you're gonna lean in that. We saw it with stories and Snapchat. We're definitely seeing it with Reels already. And I think putting it to the 30 seconds is great because you just get a lot of people to put more content in, But just it makes sense that these small iterations happen. That's what we saw when stories came. It was 6 seconds, or what was it? No, when video first came. When video first came, it was like Vine, so it was 6 seconds.
Oh, was it?
It was something shorter.
It's 15.
It was 15 because Vine was 6 seconds.
So they were like, we're going to beat that.
Yeah, and then they did 15. Then they slowly
went straight to a minute.
And then they went to a minute. Yeah.
They went 15 to a minute.
And now we have IGTV,
and then IGTV
which is just...
was like...
IGTV in the beginning was only 10 minutes.
10, and it was an hour for large creators, which was a strange introduction to it. And then it was... Now then it's like an infinite for anybody. It didn't pick up as much.
So I think that just shows you that's what they're doing, right? So I don't know why the way that they roll things out, why that happens, but it's rolling out. It's going to just continue to be more and more adopted, and I think it's all over your feed, right? If you're on Instagram, you see Reels is everywhere. So this is just one more step to world domination.
Pretty much. They also updated the timer, so now you can set the timer for 10 seconds to record the clips, which I guess would make sense to give you a bit more time because you might be doing something more hectic. You're doing a 30-second video, which is kind of cool. And they said they improved the trimming and deletion options, which I love.
Yes,
that was a real headache.
You should have seen us when we were filming these Instagram Reels videos at the beginning because we have to jump on, right? And there were a lot of problems.
Because we're not native TikTok
acted
users.
Very quickly,
which was great.
Very quickly.
And that's what we've said. That, like, for example, something that was quickly addressed, we've had a ton of comments about it. So we did a video about how to get audio on business accounts because we found a hack for our high season account, which obviously is a business account, not a creator, and to figured it out where you just tap above the in the blank space where the audio should be, and it worked. A whole bunch of people were saying it didn't work for them, so the only solution really is to change to a creator account or a personal account. Probably wouldn't be optimal. At the same token, I was saying to people, they're going to fix it. Like, whatever the problem is, they're going to fix it super early. They probably have a list this long of bugs. And this already shows they've already updated to 30 seconds within a month, I guess, of however long's been. They've fixed the trimming option. The trimming was a nightmare. They've updated the timer. There's probably other small things they've done too, like the way to delete the clips, and you can go back and slightly trim each clip, which you weren't able to do before.
I love it.
All these different things, because it made no sense. Once you did it, you're like, I have to do the whole thing again.
Yeah, it was terrible. Or just some things you want to just cut off. Yeah, it's so much. It's already so much better. I'm already enjoying it much more.
So much more. So that's the update. If anyone did see that video, people were commenting and saying, but it doesn't work for me. That's why when we did it, it worked. We didn't know that it didn't work for other accounts because we found the hack. Beautiful.
So it still works for some people. But
it still works for some. Others, so and the point is, we all just need to be patient. They're going to fix it. It's happened every single time they've released new features and functionalities. It's it's huge. It's almost the second largest platform on the planet. So I mean, we got to give them a break. They'll get there. Was there anything else they did?
No, I think that was it.
Most of the feedback seems that Reels is TikTok, but not as good. I couldn't tell you. I like it now. I didn't like it at first, but I get the point of it. Nigel Tap referring to things not getting posted. That was probably from that last comment. He said, "Do you recommend IG over FB for a business account?" We recommend all platforms that make sense for you.
Yeah.
For example, if you feel like there's a market for your products, you should basically be on everything anyway. Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at the bare minimum.
I would say the big three always you should be
Yeah.
on. And then from there, you can kind of deduce what makes the most sense for you.
Yes.
Like if we were marketing at, what are the ones before millennials? Gen Z?
Gen Z.
If we were marketing at
after?
Gen Z, after
Gen
Gen
Z.
Zers, you know, if we were trying to do the young kids, if we had clients with like
I know what they
young products, we would be all over TikTok, for example.
Yes.
Snapchat. We
too,
have some
probably.
clients who are in the travel space, hotel space, so we're go in on Pinterest because Pinterest is huge for planning. So it really depends, but I would say the big three will always benefit you to be on. And when it comes for like a business account, they should both be business accounts because you want the analytics.
Yeah.
Like that's a big thing. Like that's how we create posts for everybody is that we look at what works the best and then we double down on it. Because if you know, for example, a certain post brings you 20 followers every time you post that type of content, you know you should be finding ways to integrate that
That's
more.
it.
So it's always going to benefit you.
At the very least, Instagram and Facebook. I'd say a lot of businesses aren't on Twitter. They just don't get it. I always try and convince people just to have the account and use IFTTT or something to just natively post the photos. But like, you should really be on every because you don't know. You don't know where your audience is going to be. Like,
especially because people complain on Twitter.
Yeah, it's the #1 complaint spot.
So you want to make sure that like that complaint doesn't just go out into the ether unresponded to. Like you want to make sure that you always have your base. Like that's like you have to protect yourself.
Yes.
And be wherever your customers could potentially be.
Social media, basically, you are your company's digital bodyguard, as we like to say.
Yeah.
So if you're not there with people that are talking bad things, talking negatively about your company, you're not there to stand up for yourself or fix the situation if it was your fault, then you're missing out. So be everywhere within reason.
Yeah.
All right, next up. So we don't get too caught up on stuff. Instagram releases auto-captioning for IGTV in 16 languages.
I just thought this was very cool. It's something to note and pay attention to. One, they just keep leading into IGTV. Like, they love IGTV, right? And I just love that they did this. This is more similar to what YouTube has with this captioning. So I thought that was super important for people to know.
Yep.
It also helps with accessibility, so it's very cool that they're doing it. I would love... I actually think everyone should be captioning all their videos.
Yeah, that's the optimal situation.
Like, just because a lot of people are reading without they're watching without the audio. So that's something to consider. So I love that they do this, and that's probably based on data of knowing that's how people sometimes consume content. So
I watch a lot of videos on mute. I love it when there's captions. At the same token, it's not completely feasible for every business to have the time to create the content, to upload it, and then manage the community, but then caption it too. It's
guys, check out Rev for captions, by the way.
Is it
Rev is REV,
yeah.
So they will do transcription for you. I think it's $1 per minute. Yeah, that sounds right.
$1 per minute?
Yeah.
That's so cheap.
Yeah, I know. So we use it. We don't use it for everything, but we've used it for clients, and we like that. And then Capwing, which is free to actually burn the captions into the video. So those are two good tools I definitely recommend. And we just wanted everybody to see this so that they could tap captions and make sure if it's not available to make sure that they have it on.
Yeah. So
that we can get those auto-generated captions. And this just shows you again
how to do it.
The fact that they can do this just shows like keywords are so important because that means they're pulling information from the video. So just like when we have YouTube, there are certain things that you're supposed to say in a YouTube video, so YouTube understands that like your title matched your everything that you said you were going to say.
Yeah.
So be sure when you're creating those IGTV videos, especially if it's educational or anything like that, that you're saying the same keywords that you would write in a description in the video as well.
Can you edit the? Because see, I can't see any.
I don't believe you can edit it though. But that's probably, hopefully, will change.
Well, if you're like me and you talk funny, like, you're going to have a problem because whenever people try to do... I actually got a free thing recently where I did the podcast, a full 2-hour podcast episode, and I just tested it out, and it was so wrong. And the person I interviewed was from here in Montreal, so she had a very strong French accent speaking English, so you had me talking funny, she was talking funny, it was a mess. So if you have a non-North American accent, you might have some problems.
Yeah, that might be
will you guys, Stony Collectors, will you guys be doing more lives in the future? Yes.
Sure. We don't do them as much, No. But yeah, like
I like it.
If you guys like them, then yes, we'll do.
Yeah,
them
let
more.
us know. Like people, you guys let us know in the comments if this is of interest to you guys. We just wanted to do an update. We didn't do a video this week, so and we hadn't done this, like I said, for 2 months. And
Yeah, so this would be
these
a
are
good
fun
one.
for us to do. So, yeah, if you guys want them, we'll keep doing them.
Yeah.
And we could even doesn't just have to be social media news because we don't want to film a video about social media news and then edit it and blah blah blah. Like this makes more sense.
Yeah, it's more timely.
People can ask the questions about it. It's timely. It's to the minute. It's up. It's done. So.
Yeah.
All right, next up. It's a story bonanza right now.
Because everybody and their mom has to have stories.
You know,
okay?
we used to joke about this.
We used to joke. We had the thing where their Excel is gonna have stories. Where like Google Sheets is gonna have stories. When the people started adding it. Like when Facebook had stories, we were like, whoa, okay, like why does Facebook need stories? But now it's like Instagram has stories, Facebook has stories. Now LinkedIn has stories.
Have you tried it?
I have not tried that.
I tried it.
Did you? What do you think?
It's like okay, you know how they're owned by Microsoft?
Yeah.
It reminds me of a Microsoft version of the iOS type of thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't horrible.
Yeah.
It works in the same way as stories. It's got like almost the same way. When you're tagging people, you can actually tag people in it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if you can write like a sentence. Like it's not as free form as Instagram
Sounds like
stories.
a LinkedIn thing then. Yeah.
Totally.
Because Instagram's fun, right? Instagram's a fun app and really super creative, and I don't think of LinkedIn as a creative platform.
They were showing examples in there, like when you first open up the app, when you get stories, it shows you like different, Ariana Huffington, how she's using it, and like this person, like Guy Raz.
I did see that. I think I did
that?
look in the morning or something like that.
Yeah.
I did like wake up and look at that. Yeah.
So it's like
it was interesting.
It's cool. Like I don't think it's whack or dumb. I think it's super
smart.
interesting. I'm trying to use LinkedIn more recently. I noticed like I'm trying to see how other people, my age and my industry, or like other friends, like use it, and they're almost using it like Facebook. And I was like, "What are y'all like? This is weird to me." But
yeah,
I
do think it should be business. Yeah.
Yeah, but then like they are posting things. It's not always about business. They're almost like trying to bring fun to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my friend Jess Wheeler, he's a partner in an advertising agency in Melbourne, and he posted something about like he's very, very witty because he's like an ad copywriter. He's one of the funniest dudes I know. So he was saying that like, oh, I hate watching all these designers playing with Macs and slapping designs and listening to hip hop all day when he can't do it because he has to write. So he can't listen to things with lyrics. So he made a copywriter's open playlist on Spotify, and it got like 1,200 engagements.
Not surprised.
No, 1,200 likes plus comments.
I'm not surprised. Yeah.
So probably like 1,500 engagements on this thing, just because there's a lot of people that can relate, and that was a smart, funny way to create still business content on LinkedIn and then talk about it there. Then he could have added some. Now you'd add some stories and talk about it on the phone, do some front-facing thing. I don't know. I'm curious. I want to start doing it. The thing is, I don't think it applies to the business account, so it's just for your pages so far, like your personal profile. Like, for example, we can't do stories for the high season, business page on there, I don't think. So,
okay, not yet. That could be something that changed, but I do like that. I think that's just let you know, like, not to sleep on LinkedIn, right? So like LinkedIn Stories is one, and that would be great for behind the scenes. Like if you're thinking about behind the scenes content, I think that's great for a business to be showcasing. Yeah. And then if you think about LinkedIn has done polls this year, they've done live videos this year, they have the reactions, like it's not just a like anymore, it's the heart, the clap, and all that stuff as well.
Still very Microsoft-y.
Still very Microsoft-y. And then they've really adopted the carousel formats as well, because I tested some carousels on there and really like the way that they look. I need to schedule more in there actually. So I definitely think you shouldn't sleep on LinkedIn. I think they have 500 million.
No, 700 million. I just saw it.
Whoa, is it 700 million?
Yeah, I just see it. 706 million registered users.
And crazy? I don't know what daily active is. Maybe the active I saw was 500.
That would be about right.
That's incredible. Yeah. So that's a big.
They've been growing.
They've been growing. It feels like they're kind of like a sleeper in the end, So I feel like it's definitely, especially if you're B2B. If you're B2B, there's no question about it.
Yeah, even if you're B2C, I don't know. I feel like I'm seeing the benefit of it now. I always thought it was so super corny. It was only my friends who worked serious corporate jobs who were like in that world.
That's what it
used
was.
to use it, but yeah, it was. And now I'm seeing like it's as closer to. It's like Facebook Lite. It's still professional. No one's cussing or posting ridiculous things, but like I don't know. I'm seeing the value in it now, and I was quite curious about the stories before. If this was 6 months ago, a year ago, I wouldn't have cared less, really, to be honest. But now I'm like, all right, I can see how this can be a nice fit in to help build your personal brand. Just even share as my 10-year anniversary in Canada a couple of weeks ago, and I posted that there, and I got a whole bunch of engagements and stuff like that. People I hadn't seen or heard from in forever. Like, oh, congratulations! Like,
Yeah.
all right, damn.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was like just interesting.
I think so.
Even sharing that, like that sort of personal milestone, but it also coincides with a lot of the business stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Just to see how it went.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, so give it a try. Definitely don't front on it. Give it a crack.
I would definitely say that.
Speaking of stories.
And let's see what Stony Collector says. I really like that name.
Behind the scenes, it shows you're genuine with your products.
100%. 100%.
Not even just
and that's why I love that. Yeah, it's just always people buy people, right?
Yeah,
they buy people, they buy into people, and they buy stories. It's not really the product as much as it is the people behind the product and the story behind that.
Yes.
And stories allows you to do just that, right? So definitely being able to showcase your product, especially if you could take people on a journey, if you're building something new, if you're shipping a new product, if you had a course, for example, anything like that, and you could take people through building that, they love following that journey.
100%.
Yeah. And now following stories again, and we said everyone has a story, Pinterest officially launched their stories as well. It's still in beta, and I believe it's only with US creators right now. However, it makes complete sense, and their stories are a bit different actually.
Yeah,
so
they are a little different.
They're not like in the same they're not, what's the term, ethereal?
Yes, ethereal.
Ethereal, so they're not just for 24 hours. They're actually like stories that are meant to be. They're even calling it story, and I feel like it's not as much of a story as it is like a creative pin. Yeah, it's just like designed.
Oh, so you can now type.
Yeah, like you can have the text over it, you can make slides and stuff like that, but I feel like it's just making it like a creative piece of content more than really a story, and then you can pin it and it stays there. So I think they said something where it's like Pinterest is to show you, Instagram, for example, those stories are to show you what's happening right now, but like the pins are supposed to kind of show you what can happen.
Yes.
Like what you can do.
See this thing I just highlighted here. Pinterest broke its daily download record and moved to the top of the App Store because of the iOS 14 design ideas. Did you hear about that?
No.
So if in iOS 14, for the iPhone users out there, iPhone gang, what up? The way that you can move around now, showing you the widgets. You can put the weather widget and like that. They show you different designs and ways to lay it out. So people have been putting those on Pinterest. And people went crazy. I actually haven't looked at any of them yet because I've got a couple of them. I use some of the widgets on mine.
Check those out. I haven't even downloaded iOS 14 yet.
Yeah, it's mad slow now. We need a new phone.
Is it slower? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought they weren't going to, what's the term called?
I'm doing the typing in the text and it'll just stop. And then all of a sudden it'll go and it'll catch up.
Apple wasn't supposed to do that. Yeah. Well, there you go.
I mean,
they weren't supposed to throttle. They weren't supposed to throttle anything.
Yes. This is the worst it's been. This is a 3-year-old phone now.
Yeah, this is the iPhone 8 Plus, yeah.
We've been lazy and just nothing good. It's been fine. It's because of the change. We're just like, I don't know, we didn't need it. The camera, everything's been good, so we're going to get the new one this year, I guess. But
yeah, might as well then.
Interesting, though.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth trying.
But that's cool to see Pinterest breaking records for that. But I don't know. See, for example, again, and it's kind of coming back to what Knowledge on Tap was saying. So, like, depending on your industry, this could, like, Hillary from Pretty Penny, she should be on Pinterest. Because that's where people go to save things they want to buy. Like, the whole point of Pinterest is, like, I am going to make this. I am going to travel here. I am going to purchase this. Like, that's what Pinterest is for. So, like, yeah, depending on your industry, it can really make sense to be on there.
Yeah. It's cool that they're doing this.
And you're welcome, Stony Collectors.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's good. I don't, obviously, I'm not a pinner myself, but, like, I like that they're doing it, and I like that they're doing it in a unique way.
And I showed you, I went like viral on Pinterest. I have like 400,000 monthly. I don't even
views.
I probably spend 15 minutes on my personal Pinterest.
A year?
A month tops. And that's why I actually really want to pay more attention. But you can only study so many things at one time. I need to really we use it for our clients, but in terms of like I know that category, so like we know like travel, hotels, all that type of stuff. But like this was like home decor for my own personal thing as we were redoing our apartment. And then I ended up getting 400,000 monthly visitors, and I think I'm probably still at like 300,000 or something, just for pinning every now and then things that are interesting to me. So can you imagine the type of visibility you could get? Yeah. And like if I had more time, I would do something interesting with it. Like if something picks up, you should technically try to monetize it, productize it, do something with it. But
yeah, particularly that level.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to do some high season stuff on there. I don't know, like if there's wouldn't you want that on a high season account?
Yeah, and we do have the high season account too. But even when I spend a bit more time just even pinning on high seasons account, we have a Pinterest account. Because people do go there for education, still not the same as it is for certain categories, though. We do see a good increase in monthly viewers there.
So, yeah. So it's kind of crazy, but definitely worth looking at
Yeah.
to see if it suits your business. It's very specific, but yeah, if it suits
Always to
it.
see what works for you, right? There's an audience for you somewhere. You just have to make sure you tap in and just like look at your analytics. I just can't stress that enough to see what works.
Yeah, 100%. So
that's it, right?
That's basically it. Unless anyone had any other further questions.
This was
I guess
supposed to be a
like,
15-minute video,
Yeah,
guys. It was
it's
45 minutes. We keep trying, and it just doesn't really.
yeah, we just want people to be able to re-watch it, and sometimes I think people might be not inclined if they see a 15-minute video. Like, so we want to make, because we're trying to deliver value here with new information. So.
Yeah.
Knowledge on tap is saying, do you find the timing of the post can hurt your post? I think this is a not controversial, but it's an interesting topic because I have a not so common view on it.
Mhm.
Do you have? Do you want to
Say
give
your
me one?
quote. Say yours.
So mine, like the way that my life works, I'm not able, because we're running business. We have all these different things, like running multiple businesses. I can't always do it. Say for my own stuff. And, clients are different. Clients always get preference. So for my own account, I can't just stop what I'm doing to go and post on my own thing. So for our craft beer podcast, I post. What is it? 9:30. We haven't even eaten yet, so we have to have dinner, and then I'll go and get that post together. I'll probably post anywhere between 12 and 2 a.m. And then people see the post the next day, because if they follow us pretty strongly, even if they go to bed before I post, it'll come up at the top of the feed, because it comes up at the top of the feed and all my other accounts that I know engage with it. So I see just as much engagement. I post at 4 a.m., I post at 6 p.m. I've seen no difference between the 6 p.m. post or 8 p.m. post than the 4 a.m. post. It's exactly the same every time for me. I really don't believe that it makes that much of a difference, personally. I don't think so, from what I've seen.
So yeah, I think that really can depend. I think also with yours, it's a bit different because you also have Australia as an audience. So you have two
West Coast too.
sides of the world. Yeah, and you have West Coast, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Where like some people might just have, like, you could be a restaurant in Toronto, and in the end, like if you do post at 12 a.m. and the majority of your audience is sleeping, all that time that you could have wrapped up engagement at the beginning of the post made your post just seem like it's not interesting, which made it not get served. So it's like, I think it depends as well, like
I didn't think of it like that.
where you could be reaching. For us personally, like, I don't know, when it comes to clients, like we do have 3 ways, which is actually interesting. It's a post that Dan is putting together now for Instagram next week. I gave him the outline for it. So it's funny that you asked that, knowledge on tap. But there's a few things to consider, and one of them is, okay, if you don't have any data at all, what is like the habits of people? Because I do think that matters. Like in the end, if you're trying to reach me, if I was in the end like looking to try to get like moms, for example, and I knew that in the end the time that they might have the downtime is when their kids go to bed after 8 p.m., then I would probably post after 8 p.m. every day, when I know they're more likely to be scrolling through. If I'm thinking of the general commuter, of like a person who back in the day was a commuter, you know, you'd be like, okay, I'm going to post when people are like 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., maybe even 7 to 9, depending, you know, noon to 1, like these times where you're more likely, 7. Yeah. Usually. And dinner, I think, is huge. I think, like, that time when people really take the downtime after dinner and they're, like, chilling.
Yeah, 9, 10 p.m. is gold.
Yeah, I feel like that's a really good time, especially if people are in their bed. So I don't think it's a bad thing to even post later, but you would either be thinking about your customer or the person you're trying to reach and when they would likely be online. And then the second thing I would use is the insights in the back end. So once you have enough data, you should be looking at these insights, because Instagram's telling you basically what works and what doesn't work. So, and then the third thing is we actually have the platform that we use. Sprout Social is the one that we use. That tells us when to post. Yeah. So that actually uses data from all the posts that we've shared, and it actually puts it down to the minute of what is a good time to post. Actually. And I find that we keep really great engagement, and I would say a lot of that's due to that. Yeah, and we use that for clients. Yeah. So Sprout Social is what we use. I'd say it's a bit pricier if you want to if it's just for yourself. If you're a social media manager and you have several clients, I definitely recommend it though.
100%. All right. Stoney is saying, come on, click. Pinterest, I'll definitely have to check it out for art designs for sure. What if you had a page where you already had a decent following and you start to try to sell products, but it flops, and you're still not set in what you want to sell and you already posted? I'm not sure I know what that means with not set in what you want to sell.
If your page already had a decent following, you start to try to sell products, but it flops. Like if you have a decent following, is it that you're selling them something that they know that they wanted? Because then if you have a following of people that you're tapped into, they should likely want the thing that you're selling, right? I
mean, you've also got to do the pre-order as well, which is a good thing to be gauging how interested people are in what you're selling.
Yeah, pre-orders are great for that. And you're still not set in what you want to sell and you already posted. That is like tricky because then it's almost like you shouldn't post until you 100% know what you want, right?
Yeah. So
Unless you're just doing pre-orders and trying to gauge interest.
That's
like that's another thing, right? And I feel like in Morrison, and what I would say if you had already posted this, in the future I would ask more questions.
Yeah.
So I would use like the polls and stuff like that, like use all the stickers that Instagram has available to try to survey your audience. Like what's so great about Instagram is you get the opportunity to survey people and ask them. So if you have that following, you kind of should ask them what they want and use the questions and information they give you and the answers to kind of build a product for them, so you don't run into something where it flops.
Yeah.
Because the one problem is, you have to be competitive in whatever you're selling, right? So if you're selling and someone else is selling it, you have to have a competitive edge. But also you should be really tapped into your consumers so you know, like, you're creating something for them.
Yeah.
Like, we have a bunch of products we can start creating, right? But we're only going to create something based on what
people
you guys actually tell us that you would want.
Yeah.
Like, if we're going to create something, it should be how to grow on Instagram, because that's like the main question. Well, and that could be something tuned. That we do. So, stay tuned. But, so really tapping into your audience and surveying them. And in the end, if you had something and it didn't do that great, just take it as a lesson learned, It doesn't even need to be that you archive it. Nobody knows what's happening. Nobody would know that it flopped. Only you would know that,
If you just delete it and don't say anything.
Or you don't even need to delete it because nobody knows.
That's true.
You could have sold it, it could be great. And then you're like, here's the second version of this thing. Using all the information that you get.
Exactly. Yeah. Great points.
It's all about appearances.
Exactly. So I keep them up. Okay, thank you. Welcome. All right. Emiliona Designs. How can you improve your reach to gain followers? I feel I have a cool reach, but not many new followers. How can I improve?
How can I improve reach to gain followers? So when we're talking about reach, you actually kind of missed some of this in the beginning, perhaps. There are some posts that hurt your reach. So I would just, when we're coming off, which we're going to come off pretty soon, just head to the front of this video or go to our Instagram. There are posts that could actually hurt your reach. So you want to make sure you're not posting that. Right? Yeah, it's not one of our last posts, I think. And if you're talking about like improving reach, one of the things that we talked about right now, something really, really good to do is lean into the things that Instagram is already promoting so that you can ride the wave that they have, right?
Yes.
So right now they're really promoting Reels. So if you can create content that fits for Reels, I would highly, highly recommend that you do that. And then in terms of just increasing your reach in general, we have a video. I will put a link to it in the description below. Mm-hmm. I can't remember the title of it now, but it's specifically dedicated to increasing your reach on Instagram. So you can go to our channel and you will find that, but I'll also put a link to it in the description.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking your question.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We are at the 52-minute mark.
That's probably long enough for us. So thank you all for tuning in. Really appreciate you guys. Once again, if you are interested in more
y'all just sticking through all the way to the end. Like, nice. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Appreciate y'all, man. Thank you guys for coming through, for all the great questions and comments and such.
We're going to go have dinner.
Yeah, man's is hungry. Let us know if you want us to keep doing these. I feel like once a month is pretty good, but if there's any other topics, maybe some sort of live Q&A thing or something.
Yeah,
that's interesting to me.
Yeah, we could totally do
it. If that's interesting to you guys. Like, so we're just trying to provide value. Like, we always feel like the videos typically answer a question, but maybe if you had something a little more specific that we're not covering, without like reviewing your account, because that's something we can't do. Nose on tap, thank you. You're welcome. Absolutely. Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers. Leave them also in the comments below if you have video ideas that you want us to film or questions and stuff like that. We do Q&A, also videos in general, like outside of lives.
Yeah, that's true.
And then we also might just answer in the comments. So
usually the ones that are asked often, because we get like, the comments have been crazy lately. So thank you all so much for that. So we actually had to really stay up on it.
Yeah, he's like dedicating time.
I've got a reminder every day. Go and check comments. So it's like there's a lot because I go and do it and it'll take me 45 minutes to go through all these comments, so now I'm doing it daily. Yeah. So I'm going to be more on top of it. If we see common ones, then we'll make a video of that. But if a live Q&A is of interest, let us know. Whatever you guys are thinking, let us know. If enough people say one sort of thing, then we'll do it. So we're pretty open.
All right, guys.
Appreciate you guys. Want to do the end?
And my outro. Do I do an outro? Yeah. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Hit subscribe below. Hit the notification bell so you catch our lives. Okay? Because they never know. They just pop up. They pop up at dinner time sometimes. You just never know. And then you can follow us on Instagram, like we said, and all our social media platforms at High Season Co. We have content on our blog too at highseasonco.com. And we will be out with another video this week. Have a beautiful rest of your Sunday or Monday morning if you're in Australia or whatever time you're watching.
Wherever it is.
Have a gorgeous week. And we'll catch you next time, guys.
Absolutely. Thanks, Liz. Thank you, Stoney.
Bye, Liz. Bye, Stoney.
Thank you,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
Peace, guys.
Peace.